Time travel is such an exciting notion that I don't think you'll ever meet anyone who has never once thought how cool it would be to be able to go back to the past or forward to the future or back to the future and back again, and just to see what it was like back in the first century, or see what life will be like in the 25th century. It's a very romantic and idealistic and optimistic notion that we all wish could be possible. So that pretty much explains why time travel is such a popular conceit in science fiction. And done right, you get great films like Back to the Future or The Terminator or Primer or films like that, or even Interstellar. Or done poorly, you get stuck with films like, say, Beastmaster 2 or A Sound of Thunder. And basically, it's a very slippery slope when you deal with time travel films, because one little slip up and the whole film could end up causing a massive paradox that even would scare Dr. M. Brown. But James Morrison's Diverge does not have that problem. In fact, despite the fact that it is a low-budget science fiction film, it more than makes up for its lack of budget with a very, very compelling, engaging, enthralling story about time travel. The film starts in a post-apocalyptic future where we discover that a virus, an outbreak, a pandemic, pretty much wiped out most of civilization, and we meet our leads, Chris Town, played by Ivan Sandemeyer, and Anna Town, his wife, played by Erin Cunningham, and we basically see them trying to survive out in this desolate wasteland. We know that it's basically desolate, and because they're walking by cityscapes that are smoldering in the far distance, and most of the areas that they're walking through is basically just like hardened desert, not sand necessarily, but basically just like hard rock desert. And as the film progresses, we learn that someone has found the ability to go back in time, and not just found the ability to go back in time, but has found a way to change their present by going back to the past and finding the root of all this of the outbreak. And the really compelling thing about this is that Chris, who is the one who ends up going back in time, must find his past self, because his past self is the one who started it all. So the compelling argument is that how far are you willing to go to save not just yourself, but all mankind? Just what kind of sacrifices are you willing to make? And that's basically the gist of the drama that unfolds in Morrison's film. And it is a really, really interesting and fascinating arc. And it's totally engaged. And the great thing about this film is that a lot of times when you're dealing with time travel movies, you get hung up on the science. It's like, how did they do it? How did they get back in time? I mean, obviously with Back to the Future, Doc Brown made a DeLorean. But if the story is strong enough, you kind of just push aside the reasons on how and why they're able to go back in time like they did. Like, say, for example, Somewhere in Time, that I know for some people it's kind of cheesy, but that very bittersweet romantic drama with Christopher Reeve, where he essentially wills himself back in time. Or Looper, where basically they go into this thing, this tube, and then they find themselves in the past, and they never really dwell or really go into the science of just how exactly they pull it off. And in the case of Diverge, it's the same thing. They don't really dwell on how it's accomplished. We just know that they can do it, because basically that it's the fact that they go back in time is really not important. It's what the drama that unfolds by them going back in time and what can happen and the possible repercussions that could unfold. And that's where the film draws its most suspense and drama from that situation. So going any further into the story would obviously spoil too much, and I really was trying very hard to skirt a lot of details without giving. I mean, I wasn't even tempted to say that, yeah, he's sent back in time to find himself, but that's basically just laid out in the plot synopsis. So it's like that's the hook, going back in time to find yourself and just what you need to do to save mankind and the future. So James Morrison's Diverge, I would give 4 stars out of 5. 4 stars out of 5. It's a very thought-provoking, engaging, compelling time travel story featuring some strong performances and a great conceit, and there's a lot of things that I did not see coming, and it opens a lot of doors of a lot of things about time travel that you probably didn't even think about. So Diverge, 4 stars out of 5. Definitely one to look out for. So if you like this review, hit that like button below. I'm sure you probably haven't heard of Diverge, but what are your favorite time travel movies? And what are you most looking forward to about Diverge? And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do, so you can stay on top of my reviews as they come in. So until next time, we'll see you at the movies.